everybody, it is Calxiyn here. I'm probably gonna make a new intro for the next batch of videos, but anyway, you guys should join our Discord server if you enjoy our video and become a patron. So today, last week, we did the irony of Jean's transcripts, but this week I decided that we'd do something a little bit different in terms of irony-based, entertainment.
Okay, that's a sentence.
Question mark. But yeah, okay. So if, you guys may have seen this if you're in the Discord server, but somebody posted this picture of a comparison side by side that Amber, after, the Grimm bug sucked up her powers, has a scar on the, same side of her face that Cinder now has been scarred by RWBY. And so, that's pretty straightforward, right? Do you want me to assign your points? Because you pretty suck at this pretty bad.
I pretty suck at this.
You pretty suck at it. Let me do it.
Suck.
And
well, I like the idea of having a full combo.
What do you mean a full combo?
Like...
Well, Pyrrha doesn't have this stuff unlocked, so you're just gonna have to deal. Okay, here. Actually, you can get one more thing.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna give it to, like, health.
That's lame, Hunter.
This is in, like...
Anyway, we were talking about, things.
You're playing it now. And
I know, but I don't remember how to get to the thing.
Like that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyways, so, yeah, that's pretty straightforward. It's not like with John's transcripts where we had to harp on and on about it. Necessarily, like, Cinder prides herself on beauty, like, as we kind of see a lot of, like, she wants to look good. I think that we've established that.
And you know what? She looks alright.
She's
doing go for herself.
She kind of was playing on being sexy and being pretty, you know what I mean? Especially, her skin tight suit. How she would talk to people, how she would grab Roman and,
why are you grabbing me by my face?
I'm trying to, like caress his face. I know, they can't see us, I know.
You're just doing that.
Stuff like that. Like, it was very sexual movement, you know what I mean? And now, like, her hair's cut. We've talked about Cinder's appearance before and how it factors into her character development. We did a video, like, 3 parts all about Cinder and her look, her semblance, basically how they designed her entirely. And so, the irony of this is, I guess, is that, somebody took that away from her, right? Like, she took away... Because we don't know if Amber kind of prided herself on beauty as well, but she basically took away Amber's beauty, Amber's, like,
people tend
life,
not to look
you know what
great
I mean?
in a corpse.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you understand what I'm saying, though. Like,
also, I think there's something to be said about you're killing... I guess, no, she was a Fall Maiden.
Yeah.
Which I suppose people all...
The Fall Maiden, like, is about choice. You know what I mean? Like, that's a relic that we know she's connected to now. Which, again, I think that's kind of interesting, just considering, all of Cinder's choices and how Amber went to go help the girl. She could have left her, but she didn't. Remember, like, how Emerald, made a fake girl?
Oh, yes, that is true.
Like, it was all about choice, right? And so, Cinder didn't have to do this, but she made the choice to do things this way. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if they could have just killed Amber and Amber would think of her attacker last, right? But, like, they made it so she would suffer by getting, like, basically her life ripped out of her, right? Like, the maiden powers ripped out of her, right? And that would have killed her. And that's kind of a choice that they make. And now we know that Salem, kind of prides herself about working with others. You know what I mean? And so it makes me wonder if that was maybe Cinder acting on her own. Like, that she decided that's the way she wanted to do it. Instead of, like, I don't want to say a normal way, but I think you understand what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of in a compassionate way, she decided to kind of be violent with it and not to work with Amber at all. Because, like, there could have been at least a more merciful way to kill her, and Cinder didn't go down that option, so now she's kind of being punished for her own, like...
I mean, she did, like, throw, like, shoot an arrow through her heart.
Yeah, like, wasn't that enough? You know what I mean?
That was all after she, like, put her...
Like, there was always kind of the thing that maybe she won't think of Cinder or whatever, and, like, that would have been bad for kind of what they were trying to do, but, like, you kind of get the idea that the punishment that she put on the Fall Maiden is coming back to bite her in the ass as the Fall Maiden. Yes. Does that make sense?
Also, you see, like, how Amber kind of had scarring on her face.
Yeah, and now she has the same scar.
Has the same scar.
And so, again...
It is fitting, really.
Yeah, and so I think that, like, when we talked about John and the Iron...
You know who else has a facial scar?
Who?
Weiss.
When we talked about John and then the irony of how John forges transcripts and then the same system that enabled him to get into Beacon with forgeries did the same for Cinder and etc, etc, etc. Like, this is kind of the same thing. The system that kind of enabled Cinder to take Amber's powers also came back to bite her in the ass, like, really, when you kind of think about it. Like, because you could say that we don't know exactly what Salem is yet, but you could say that Salem is, like, some sort of, like, let's just pretend for now she's a deity or something. Like, you could say...
She is something.
You could say, yeah, or
People
even if you
describe
say
her
she's
as
a Grimm goddess,
like
you know what I mean? Like, even if she only really has power over the Grimm, or she's a hyper-intelligent Grimm, Cinder got the power, like a Grimm-related power from Salem to be able to, you know, hurt the Fall Maiden. But now the thing that is, like, the Silver-Eyed Warriors who are against the Grimm, you could say, that fight against the Grimm, have now punished her. You know what I mean? For using the Grimm. Because a lot of people think that with Cinder... I don't know if I'm making any sense here, by the way. You're gonna have to tell me. You understand what I mean, right? I'm a little concerned about just not making that clear.
I get your initial...
Like, it's just the idea that Cinder kind of used the Grimm on...
What is the pirouette?
It's just, it's not unlocked, so you can't use it anyway, even if you had points for it, but you just, I don't know.
It says I have to do 300 or something.
I know, but just don't worry about it. Just fight them right now. But, yeah, there you go. So, just what I'm thinking is that, you know, she used a Grimm to do it, and now the thing that fights against the Grimm, the Silver-Eyed Warriors, has come back to get her. You know what I mean? In a sense, like, almost as a weird sort of revenge. I don't want to say for playing dirty, because, like, it would have been dirty either way, but, like, because when you think about it, humans should unite against the Grimm, but instead Salem is kind of embracing, or Cinder is kind of embracing the Grimm and using it against your fellow man sort of thing. So now the Silver-Eyed Warriors are like, Nabby, like, it's different when humans just kill each other, but now you're using humans' greatest enemy to hurt people sort of thing. And now, of course, we know the Silver-Eyed Warriors are meant to fight against the Grimm, and so it's almost like Salem herself, by using a Grimm on Amber, is now as bad as the Grimm, and so that's kind of why Cinder punished her. But in a more literal sense, a lot of people think the reason why the Silver-Eyed Warriors work on Cinder, it may not be all of the maidens, it may just be Cinder because Cinder did use the Grimm, and so now Cinder kind of has this Grimm a part of her. And that is why it works on her. So for regular Spring Maiden, or for regular maidens in general, maybe the Silver-Eyed Warriors don't do anything, because a lot of people talked about this in my last video, that the Silver-Eyed Warriors may have been a fail-safe for the maidens, but it may be because they did it that way, and so they're now being punished for doing it that way, and I think I find more irony in that, really, than just the scar, because the scar just means so much. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, again, they use the Grimm to get the power from Amber, and now the Grimm is being used against her, in a sense. Like, if that is the case, like, the Grimm part of her, if you want to even kind of put it like that. And so, I think that's very interesting, that's all. It's because there's two, like, sort of complexes about it. Like, there's obviously the beauty thing, right? That Cinder has been kind of, like, defaced the way she defaced Amber on a vain level. But then there's also kind of the idea of Grimm, and then that mankind is too busy killing each other to come together and sort out the Grimm situation, sort of thing. And so there's multiple amounts of layers to what Cinder did to Amber is now coming back on herself as a sort of karma in being very ironic, and I enjoy that very much. So you've been very quiet.
I've been very quiet, I've just been listening. I do like the idea that Cinder's still sort of haunted by her actions, although she doesn't seem terribly bothered by it.
I mean, but now you see she's not cool and collected like she was anymore.
She's really not. She's
because
angry,
in the most recent
shaken.
episode, she's very angry, she's speaking a lot out of turn, you could say. Like, she's, like, keeping Ruby alive, like, working with bandits. Like, why are we doing this? Why can't we just take what we want? And she still has that mentality of taking what she wants by force like she did with Amber, even though it didn't work out for her. Like, she hasn't learned yet. You know what I mean? Because, like, they could have killed Amber and just kind of hoped that it went to her. I know that's not the best plan from a villain standpoint, but when you have heroes with an honor code similar to Hazel, you know what I mean? Like, Cinder did not have to take it by force like that using the Grimm glove. She didn't have to, but she did anyway. Like, that was a choice.
I mean, how else would you imagine her getting it?
Well, she could just kill her and then hope that it would transfer to her. I know that's not...
She's ruthless.
I know that's not wise, but the thing was, like, now you kind of see how it comes back on her, right? Like, I understand it wouldn't have been the best plan, but how kind of Salem says, you know, we can't just take everything by force. We need to work together with people, right?
Yeah.
And so that kind of, to me, is like, hey, listen, all right, you already took something by force, and look how good that ended up for you, okay? Listen to me. You know what I mean? And so I feel like even Salem is kind of coming back on her, like, you know, why don't we, instead of, you know, taking the Spring Maiden like we did last time, why don't we actually talk to her and see if she's willing to join us instead? Can we do that? You know, like, that's kind of what I'm getting from her.
Can we have nice things anymore?
Like, I know Amber may have been difficult because she looked like a wholesome, nice lady, you know, that wouldn't have sided with Cinder. And she was gonna give an apple to a little girl at the side of the street. So maybe Amber would have been difficult, but at least, like, Salem knows these people, obviously. Like, she knows that they can be reasoned with. She knew that with Sienna, for example, but I don't want to get too much into Sienna right now.
Because we're still mourning.
Yeah, but, like, you know, she knows that it's not, what Cinder did is not the best way to go about things, and now this is reflected in both Cinder's appearance. Like, she's wearing this sort of, like, scar as a, like, a badge of shame. You know what I mean? But she's also...
Yeah, you get the sense that she's very sensitive about it, both as it, like, as
because you heard what Watts said, too, in this episode, like...
Watts knows how to fuck
with the one eye that you can see, like, as well as you can, anyway. Like, that, she's really still sensitive about that, and, like, you know...
I love how, like, Tyrion's insane, Watts is a dick, Hazel's over your shit, Salem's a mom, it's great. I know,
but see,
I
like...
love the villains.
Yeah, I enjoy how even Salem is kind of calling around on her shit, like, listen, okay? Like, why don't we at least try to see if she wants to be on our side, sort of thing. Like, not everything needs to be, hey, let's get a Grimm thing so we can rip out your eye. Like, no, it doesn't need to be like that. You know what I mean? And so I think that this is definitely something that builds in a lot in the show. It's not just, like, us kind of making stuff up. Like, this is ironic because of all these things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's actual sort of backing in the show to show that Salem may have not been 100% okay with how they did it. You know what I mean? Obviously, Salem provided the glove, but at the same time, I feel like Salem is the type of person to let people do stupid things in order for them to learn, and so they can come crying back to her and she can pretend to comfort them as a form of manipulation.
Remember, kids,
does that make sense?
Salem is inevitably and will always
Hunter,
be
just go in the middle of them and then twirl.
I'm trying to get as many whatchamacallits as possible.
Anyways,
these counters. Look, I'm doing pretty good for myself.
Anyway, so I wanted to just kind of, you know, talk about that, because I think that we actually, because with John's transcripts, we haven't seen that embellished on. Like, nobody's really talked about that, but in the show, you can kind of see remnants of, hey, Cinder, maybe don't do that, you know? So I think that this is a lot more interesting. I'm sorry, like, maybe this video did not make any sense. Like, maybe I'm just crazy, but I don't know.
You're crazy, but this one, even a crazy, like, a broke clock will tell time right twice, you know?
I like that, Hunter. Thanks.
And I'm still implying that you're a broke clock, but, you know, it's cool.
Okay. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to, you know, come join our Discord server. Come talk with us. Do our thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't ignore us, you know? Like, we have this giant Discord server.
Stan! I don't know if there's someone named Stan watching this video. It'd be really funny if there were.
But anyways, so I guess, we will, see you all later. Again, thank you for watching, and, bye guys!